Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. Hemant Srivastav. I'm a fellow from Indian Institute of Management, Indore, and I'm also the author of two books written for CAT, specifically for English section, Decoding Reading Comprehension: How to Crack RC, and the second title is Decoding Verbal Ability: How to Crack Verbal Ability. Now, let me share a small story and anecdote about myself, my background. I'm a double postgraduate and a PhD. But I started my education journey from a Hindi medium school. This was almost 40 years ago. And over a period of time, I gained my competence, knowledge, and finally, that culminated in my PhD in English communication in general, and especially English, because I spent last 25 years as a coach for English and reasoning. Based on my 40 years of experience, I've culled out the wisdom, यानी कि मैंने आप लोगों के लिए ये नज़र में रखा कि जो वीकेस्ट बच्चे होते हैं इंग्लिश सेक्शन के लिए, जो उनके लिए एक बैरियर हो जाता है अपने सपनों को साकार करने के लिए, क्योंकि मैं खुद एक हिंदी मीडियम स्कूल से पढ़ के आया था, मुझे बहुत कठिनाई हुई थी। उस कठिनाई को मद्देनजर रखते हुए मैंने ये दोनों किताबें लिखी। एंड ऑफ कोर्स, as I would like to recall the story of Bobby Fischer, who was a world champion in chess. Or he was not only a mental champion, a mind champion, but he was also a man who was always in top physical gear. He enjoyed doing a lot of physical exercise and he counterbalanced it with a lot of mental exercise so that he could avoid being fatigued. यानी कि अगर आप बौद्धिक स्तर पर एक युद्ध लड़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि करीब करीब 2-3 लाख बच्चों के साथ आपकी ये लड़ाई होगी सीधी सीधी, almost 99% people are washed out. So you need to be in the top gear. You need to be another champion in the making. And champions are not monkeys, they are gorillas. कहने का अर्थ यह है कि it is a degree of persistence in the face of failure. अगर आप अपने टाइम मैनेजमेंट को अच्छा करना चाहते हैं, यू हैव टू डेवलप अ प्रायोरिटी, यू हैव टू डेवलप अ शेड्यूल, और उस टाइम टेबल के अनुसार डेली, वीकली, मंथली, एनुअली, ईयर वाइज 6 मंथ्स, 8 मंथ्स, 9 मंथ्स का प्रोग्राम बनाना पड़ता है, इंक्लूडिंग फॉर शॉर्ट टर्म प्लानिंग. यू नीड टू ब्रेक डाउन योर प्लान इन टर्म्स ऑफ वीक्स. Basically, the surmise, the entire conclusion of my deliberation is, your achievement is 99% due to your effort. जो कोशिश करते हैं वो कभी भी फेल नहीं करते, वो फेल प्रूफ हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि हर दिन जब आप कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो कहीं आपको शिकस्त मिलती है, कहीं आप थोड़ा सा डिफीटेड होते हैं, बट आप अगर अपने मोरल को हाई रखें, आप लड़ते रहें उस जंग को, कठिनाई आएगी, बिना कठिनाई की कोई सफलता मिलती नहीं है जिंदगी में। यह समझने में एक उम्र गुजर जाती है और तब आपके हाथ कुछ रहता नहीं। तो ऐसी स्थिति में टेक माय एडवाइस, यू नीड टू हैव अ सेंस ऑफ पर्पस, यू नीड टू हैव सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस, यू नीड टू डेवलप योर एक्सपर्टीज एंड यू नीड टू बिकम वेल प्रिपेयर्ड। अब मैं ये वीडियो आपके लिए बना रहा हूं ये बताने के लिए कि इन दोनों किताबों को आपको कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है। तो फर्स्ट थिंग फर्स्ट, जो पहला सर्वप्रथम चीज है जो आपको जानकारी में होनी चाहिए कि जिंदगी दो चीजों से चल सकती है, पुश यानी कोई आपको पीछे से ठेले, या फिर आप अपने आप को खुद आगे बढ़ाएं। तो ये दो मॉडल है जिंदगी की। तो एक जो मॉडल ये होती है कि आपको कोई ठेले, तो वैसी स्थिति में जब पीछे का वो फोर्स नहीं रहेगा तो आपकी तैयारी नहीं हो पाएगी। तो पुल फैक्टर इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, यू नीड टू हैव अ स्पेसिफिक गोल। तो जैसे कि रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन है, तो इसमें मैंने इस किताब में मैंने आपके लिए डिस्कस किया है कि आपका मेंटल कैपेसिटी, जिसको हम लोग टेक्निकल टर्म्स में स्कीमाटा करते हैं, और एक स्टोरी जो होती है उसमें एक लोकेशन होता है, एक टाइम होती है, एक सेटिंग होता है, एक बैकग्राउंड होता है। तो आप कोई भी पैसेज जब सॉल्व करते हैं तो उसका फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ आपको सेटिंग देता है, लोकेशन देता है, कैरेक्टर देता है। एंटायर पैसेज सिर्फ 2 तरीकों से लिखा जा सकता है, अगर वो पोएम नहीं है तो या तो वो नैरेटिव मोड में लिखा होगा या एक्सपोजिटरी मोड में होगा। तो मैंने आपको इस किताब में, इन दिस पर्टिकुलर बुक, आई एम trying to teach you the techniques of identifying what kind of a passage it is, and then what kind of questions should you anticipate, what kind of expected answers could be there, and what are the various tools and techniques to identify theme, and other powerful techniques which are not discussed in any book, because these two books that I have basically are the result of my 40 years of experience and more than 25 years of teaching for CAT and for various other top grade exams. तो जैसा मैंने आपको बताया कि एक आरसी में समझने के लिए एक सेंटिमेंट एनालिसिस होता है। अगर मैं कहता हूं कि राम बीट श्याम, तो एक ही सेंटेंस में मैंने 3 शब्दों का ये सेंटेंस आपको बताता है। आप जब पढ़ते हैं तो आपके माइंड में जाता है कि राम इज मोर पावरफुल, इसलिए उसने श्याम को बीट कर दिया। यानी कि आप राम के बारे में एक पॉजिटिव सेंटिमेंट आता है, और श्याम हु हैज बीन बीटन बाय राम, यू डेवलप अ नेगेटिव फ्रेम। तो ये सारी टेक्निक्स जो हैं वो किसी किताबों में इसका वर्णन नहीं है, उल्लेख नहीं है। तो ये आपको यहां पे ये ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है। यू नीड टू स्ट्रगल विद दिस बुक, यू नीड टू वर्क डेली assiduously, and therefore you also have been provided here a passage analysis template. What is the template? What kind of an algorithm do we follow in order to comprehend a passage? So I have also detailed here the various styles of argumentation: cause, effect, specific to general, general to specific, and this will help you to do your critical thinking. At the same time, how the passages are structured or organized and how sentences are written. So what kind of clause analysis you need to do. At the same time, if I talk in terms of unique features, I will say that these two books contain a lot of critical concepts, rules, taking tools. They tell you how to classify a text, how the author has passed various information, how various ideas are being expressed in narrative or expository method, what is the idea of a thematic progression, argumentation. So in other words, you are acquiring a lot of knowledge, so you need to take it slowly, steadily, and each step of the way you need to classify those concepts, and those concepts have been well illustrated, explained, because I believe that these two books are like a self-help book. So I believe that any student who is working very hard with these books will develop self-reliance and understanding, and he will have a cakewalk in terms of such questions, formats like para-jumble, sentence arrangement, because I am giving you concepts of keywords, schemata, signposts, contractions, and the contextual cues that need to be followed. The cherry on the cake is actually the LOC. See, a lot of authors have graded their questions in terms of difficulty. I believe fundamentally that when you grow the problem as a level of difficulty, what you are saying is that the question is demanding a higher intellectual effort. And therefore, 99.9% students will feel intimidated, they will feel fearful. Because somewhere that has been set in their mind. Now, that kind of encourages you to get into a mindset of saying that, okay, LOD or LOD3, they are supposed to be extremely tough, maybe not needed. But if you focus instead on competence, you are going to get your expertise slowly, step by step. And therefore, the exercises have been graded, basically in terms of developing your knowledge, helping you to apply the skills. So this is the model on which the exercises have been developed. And the first two levels, LOC1 and 2, are basically a basic, and they develop all the fundamental concepts that are needed to crack RC section or the verbal section with a sure 100%. The LOC3, the level of competence 3, is actually an advanced level, and both the books, the RC and the verbal ability books, have to be taken together. So I'll just give you an idea. I'll show you something as to how to do your studies. So let me tell you that if I scan a passage and I find that the topic is a general topic, I know that the topic has been written in the present tense, because this book will teach you that. And if the author is using other tenses, then that particular passage is making a forecast, making a prediction, and therefore it is likely that it might be written in future tense. So authors tend to organize information differently. So if it is written by a technical author, he's going to use terms peculiar to his specialized discipline, and therefore you'll get to learn a lot of peculiar words, unique words to that particular domain. Then wherever I encounter causal conjunctions, I will know that this is a causal relation between clauses, and other forms of connections are temporal and additional, which enable a text to be written logically and cohesively. So let me tell you that both the books need to be read together. So chapter 1, 2, 3 and 4 of Decoding RC, along with chapter 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 11, because the first 4 chapters of RC is basically dealing with clause analysis, narrative, expository text, and of course along with that there is a recommendation that you must read as much as possible the Guardian, the Aeon, New York Times, the Washington Post, and read as many novels as you could, so that you know what is the difference between narrative and expository, the clause analysis, how do you differentiate between facts and opinion, how is a story written, how is a passage idea being summarized, paraphrased, whether the author has used the effective sentences, whether he's employing a lot of parallel constructions. So these are some concepts, and those concepts you learn in the first 4 chapters of RC. So chapter 3 basically will give you a lot of idea about how punctuation is used for in order to illustrate an explanation or as to give an evidence or an example. Now, if you're going to use the decoding verbal ability together, chapter 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 11, you're going to work on your vocabulary. The basic idea is that you work on your vocabulary, then we move to the sentence formation, and then we talk about critical thinking. So you encounter there ideas of fallacy, argument, scheme, claim, fact, inference, judgment, sentence reproduction, textual coherence, by comparison and contrast, cause effect. So basically there are a lot of topics here, but you need to you need to study both the books together. Chapter wise, you must sequence it. So I'm giving a specific sequence, and I'm going to share my PPT as well. So chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 of RC, along with chapters 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 11 of decoding verbal ability. Then you move to chapter 5 and 6, which is basically on literary devices, ellipsis and reduction. And you do chapter 4 and 10, which is basically focused on paragraph completion, how you use deductive and inductive logic and elaboration, decision making. And you are doing chapter 4 and 10 of verbal ability along with chapter 5 and 6 of RC. Then finally, you are doing chapter 7, 8, 9 of RC with chapter 7, 8, 9 of verbal ability. And there you are given higher concepts like sentiment analysis and passage analysis. What are the various tools and techniques? Just to give you a small idea, the first sentence of a passage is basically called a hook sentence, because the author needs to arrest your attention. He needs to capture your 100% attention, needs to bring arouse your interest and passion in what he's writing. So the first sentence is called the hook. So I have used such similar terms in order to give you a concept about how to dissect a passage. So I believe if you're going to do that, you're going to get a comprehensive understanding. And as I said, the level of competence, basically 1 and 2 are focused on basic skills. And there are more than 500 questions in LOC 1 and another 750 questions with about 25 passages in level of competence 2, again focused on basic skills. And the level of competence 3 is an advanced skill, which is again having around 500 questions with 20 units of CAT and non-CAT actual papers. And instead of having 4 passages, we have given you 6 passages there, so that you build your stamina and concentration level. So compared to that, the same logic has been followed in the verbal ability section book, where the unique features are all the concepts have been explained with examples. And exercises are designed to develop your application skills of grammar, vocabulary, phrases, idioms, sentence construction, clause, theme and ring. And next, based on this, we are focusing on lexicogrammatical features, types of sentence errors, fillers, homophones. So basically, word meaning and sentence construction. All the tidbits, all the essential, all the critical concepts have been explained with a lot of cogent examples. And finally, the best part is that The first two, LOC 1 and 2, in RC and verbal ability, they go hand in hand together. So they are developing your stamina, your vocabulary, your knowledge of grammar, especially lexicogrammatical features. Of course, you're going to encounter terms which you may sound foreign to you, but if you struggle with the concept and the example, I think the foreignness will be lost. So I believe I wish all the CAT aspirants the best of luck, and I would say do a lot of exercise with LOC1 because it is very positively oriented to developing your competence. It is not intimidating you with telling you that it is a certain level of difficulty. It is about your competence. Essentially, this exam is about your competence. So the exercises are graded according to your competence. Do these exercises regularly, build your stamina. And of course, I would say that in the first 4 or 5 weeks, you must do LOC1 and 2 of both RC and verbal ability. Vocab building is also given. It will develop. If you do the book of RC, your vocab is going to automatically search towards at least 3,000 to 4,000 words. So that will give you enough grounding. And by the 7th week to 10th week, I believe the parajumble, the critical reasoning, fact, inference, judgment, all these topics, along with argument and fallacies and clause analysis, will give you that solid grounding. So with that, all the best to all the CAT aspirants. Please use these two books profitably. I believe it is definitely pegged at a level higher than what is prevalent in the market. But this will give you an edge in all the competitions of India and including other exams abroad. Thank you very much.